Imagine waking up tomorrow and the entire internet is gone. Phones, computers, and smart devices suddenly disconnect. Digital payments stop working. People rush to ATMs. Airports and businesses struggle as online systems fail. News and communication revert to radio and physical messages. And this would only be day one, because imagine waking up tomorrow and the entire internet is gone.
This faceless YouTube short was made with Higgsfield, the best AI video and image creation platforms right now. No matter what niche you're in or what topics you cover, you can use my workflow to create almost anything with Higgsfield. Here's my full step-by-step workflow. Start with an idea. Everything starts with an idea and a clear topic. For this example, I chose, what if the internet disappeared for 24 hours? Once you have your topic, do your research if necessary, and then move on to the script. When I'm scripting a YouTube short, I usually start with a brief description of the content and then build everything around the voiceover. So first I write the voiceover script. Once that's ready, I move to Higgsfield. Create the voiceover. Inside Higgsfield, go to the audio section and select text-to-speech. Paste in your script, choose your model, and then select the voice. Choose a voice that fits your niche and your overall style. For this video, I went with this one.
Imagine waking up tomorrow and the entire internet is gone.
Why? Because I like it. And honestly, taste matters. Once I'm happy with the voice, I generate it and download the audio. Edit the voiceover. Now I import the voiceover into my editing software. I drag it onto the timeline and remove the dead spaces. Then I work on the pacing. Usually I keep the audio segments within roughly 2 frames of each other, either tighter or slightly more separated depending on what the voiceover is saying. For transitions, I usually leave around 2 to 10 frames, but this is flexible. The important thing is that the voiceover feels smooth.
Phones, computers, and smart devices suddenly disconnect. Digital payments stop working. People rush to ATMs. Airports and businesses struggle as online systems fail.
Don't follow a formula blindly. Play it back, listen to it, and adjust the timing based on what actually sounds good. Once the pacing is finished, it's time for timestamps. Create your timestamps. I open a simple notepad, listen to the audio, and mark the timestamps for when I need each clip. I also write down the corresponding voiceover line in the scene I need. This is extremely useful because now, when I start generating the footage, I know exactly what scene I need, what line the scene represents, how long the clip needs to be. I do this for the entire voiceover, and now we're ready to generate the visuals. Build the visuals in Higgsfield. Inside Higgsfield, I open Cinema Studio. One of the things I really like about this workflow is the ability to build a consistent visual world. You can create your own folder and establish your style, characters, locations, props. For example, if you have a character you want to reuse, you can upload an image and save it as a character. Then whenever you need that character again, you can reference it in your generation. You can do the same thing with locations. If you're planning to reuse a specific environment, you can generate an image, save it as a location, and use it again later. This helps maintain consistency between shots and on your YouTube channel. Write the prompts. I go back to my notepad, and for every timestamp, I describe the scene I want based on the corresponding voiceover line. For example, if the voiceover says something about people suddenly losing access to the internet, I'll use that line as inspiration for the scene. Now I have a short description of the scene plus the exact duration I need. Then I move into the generation panel. For this example, I'm using Seedance 2.0. I personally really like this one. You can also use Cinema Studio if you're looking for more cinematic results. Higgsfield gives you different models, so choose what works best for your project. For YouTube Shorts, generate on a 9:16 size. For this test, I'm using a lower resolution just to demonstrate the workflow. Normally, I generate the clips at a higher resolution, such as 720 or 1080. Then comes the prompt. First, I describe the overall style, then I describe the actual scene. Then I add references using the plus option. From there, I can add characters, locations, generated images, uploaded images, or other elements that I want the model to replicate or use as reference. The more clearly you describe what you want, the more control you have over the result. You can also add camera movements, facial expressions. Just describe what you want. The prompting is very flexible. If you can describe it, you can create it. Generate one clip at a time. This is an important part of my workflow. I work clip by clip. I generate the first clip, review it, and only move on once I'm happy with it. Usually I get what I need in 2 generations. Then for the second clip, I can use the previous clip as a reference for the style. I still describe the required style in every prompt, and if I need a character, I add the character reference and specify whether I want the same character or a new one. Then I generate the second clip. Now I repeat this process all the way to the end. This takes a little more attention, but it gives me much more control. control. Assemble everything. Once all the footage is generated, I download the clips and import everything into my editing software. Because I already created timestamps for every voiceover section, placing the clips on the timeline is easy. Just drag and drop following the timestamps. Then I start the basic edit. I might add basic color grading, cropping, camera movement, additional transitions, extra cuts, speed changes. Some of these things can already be handled inside Higgsfield through prompting. You need to watch the video and make the creative and technical decision that works best. Once the main edit is finished, I add the subtitles. For shorts, I like adding a small pop animation to make them feel more dynamic. Then I check whether the video needs sound effects. Seedance 2.0 already generates footages with SFX and voices.
The internet is not working.
Don't add SFX randomly. If they improve the scene, use them. If they don't, leave them out. Finally, I add background music from the YouTube audio library. And that's basically it. The first video is always the hardest one, but thanks to Cinema Studio, you can bring all your previous generations, characters, locations, and references with you. This means your next production will take less time and be more efficient. AI production just leveled up thanks to Higgsfield. Check the pinned comment and try Higgsfield yourself. Thanks for watching.